What's up, guys? NFL draft is over, so that means rookie drafts are upon us. Let's sit down and talk today about the rankings that I have for the quarterbacks going into rookie drafts. Now, this is going to be the easiest one. You can probably already figure out how this is going to go, but I still want to break down how I have these guys ranked for you guys if you're headed into a rookie draft this week. As we do with all of our rankings on Fantasy Addiction Network, we break everything down into tiers. We feel like tiers tend to be the best way of breaking things down because typically there's going to be players that don't move the needle enough over another one. There really isn't too much justification for taking one over another. Kind of becomes a preference point at that. So when I have two guys ranked in tier 5, if you like the guy ranked second, go ahead and take him. I still see him pretty much the same in my eyes. So looking at the quarterbacks, we only have 7. So we'll begin from the bottom up, beginning with tier 5. We have Jake Fromm, who drafted to the Buffalo Bills. Most likely not going to be doing much there, if at all. Obviously, this is going to be majorly dependent on whether or not Josh Allen continues to improve or if he ends up having a slump in his production this year. So no one's really counting on Jake Fromm getting any type of production really at all. But if anything, it wouldn't be expected outside of an injury for at least probably about 2 years. So this is definitely a project quarterback, someone that you most likely won't know if he's going to pan out or not. But with the draft capital that he got going in the third day of the NFL draft, it's not likely that he'll be doing anything for fantasy anytime soon. All right, next we have a similar thing, same tier 5, Jacob Eason for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, obviously this has a little bit more upside in terms of more immediate potential for stardom, being able to possibly play next year if Phillip Rivers doesn't come back in 2021. However, I wouldn't expect too much from him considering that he also went just a little bit before Jake Fromm. So very low draft capital seems to indicate the teams don't think very highly of these players. So while he definitely should be rostered in super flex leagues, don't expect too much from him. He's just a bench candidate for now. All right, tier 4. This is possibly where I have one little differentiation from other rankings. We have Jordan Love here, and the reason being for that is I just don't think that highly of him as a prospect. Yes, he went in the first round, so draft capital would seem to dictate otherwise. And we've yet to really see if there is going to be any fallout from the pick of Jordan Love and whether or not Aaron Rodgers is going to do something like demand a trade or possibly want to move out of Green Bay. So this could definitely shift a little bit as the offseason goes on, but as long as everything seems to be going normal, that contract for Aaron Rodgers is dictating it so that it doesn't appear that Jordan Love is going to be starting at least for the next couple years. So considering how raw of a prospect he is, maybe the Packers can find a way to fine-tune his skills and fix his mistakes. But really, I see another project quarterback that just got drafted a bit earlier than he should have. Most likely not going to see the field too much, and if he does, it'll be in a few years. So someone you're going to throw on the back of your roster and sit on for a while. All right, jumping up to tier 3, we have Jalen Hurts. Now, Jalen Hurts is dealing with the same problem as Jordan Love is, although he's playing behind a quarterback that has a bit more time left to go, we think anyway. Now, Carson Wentz could prove to be a fraud. He's had some success there in Philadelphia, but he can't seem to stay healthy. In the last couple of years, yes, he didn't have the weapons that he did previously, but it has been a bit abysmal. It's been very, very up and down. So it's going to be interesting to see if Carson Wentz can continue to hold on to this job or if they did truly draft Jalen Hurts with the hopes of replacing him. The reason why we have Jalen Hurts ranked a tier above Jordan Love, though, is just how valuable he would become in fantasy should he actually take over the reins there in Philadelphia, considering how much he likes to run the ball. Quarterbacks, similar to a guy like Lamar Jackson, when you run the ball a lot in fantasy, running yards count for more than passing yards for quarterbacks. So got to keep that in mind when it comes to a guy like Jalen Hurts. If Carson Wentz goes down, which happens a lot, or if for some reason they just decide to give Jalen Hurts a try, he would become an immediate top 10 fantasy quarterback week in and week out with his ability to run the ball. So that's why we have him ranked a tier ahead of Jordan Love. All right, and then tier number 2, we've got Justin Herbert there for the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, they're most likely going to try to sit him for a little bit. They do have Tyrod Taylor there, and They, given their vote of confidence for Tyrod, and I think they're going to try to roll out their season with Taylor as long as they can. We've seen this situation happen 1,000 times over. Season starts out a little slow. Team loses a few too many games, and fans start clamoring for the guy that they spent their early first-round pick on. So if I had to put money on it, I would say that Justin Herbert would be starting at some point this season, but I wouldn't say he would begin the season as the starting quarterback. I would like to see that they would be able to give him the entire year off. I do think he has a lot of potential to succeed in this league, but he does have a bit of rawness to his game, a bit of dicey decision making that I think a year sitting behind a veteran and being able to play with the second team, just being able to groom himself in the NFL, I think that would do him a lot of good. So the longer they can prolong having to push him out into the starting role, I think that's going to be better for Justin Herbert. Okay, and then we have our two tier 1 guys. These are pretty obvious. Pick number 2, we have Tua Tagovailoa. I can't talk today, I'm sorry. Tua, your last name is very hard to pronounce. But going to the Miami Dolphins, great landing spot for him. This is perfect. They just picked up a bunch of help on the offensive line as well. They've got 2 decent wide receivers in Devontae Parker and Preston Williams. They also have Mike Gesicki there. They also traded for Matt Breida, so didn't really spend any draft capital on the running back. I'm just fine with that. I feel like the Dolphins are in full rebuild mode right now, and I think this will come along pretty well. Not expecting too much from them this season, but I think this is a great landing spot for Tua with Ryan Fitzpatrick there. He can sit and rest for a while, learn the game from an NFL speed, and fully recover from that hip injury. Couldn't have asked for a better landing spot for Tua. And then, of course, on number 1, Joe Burrow. Going number 1 overall to Cincinnati. They are investing heavily in him, throwing him another weapon, drafting T. Higgins in the 2nd round. This is going to be Joe Burrow's show. We'll see if what he did last year, the magic that he was able to create in LSU, will be able to translate over into Cincinnati. But you have to love his ability, the things that he's able to do on the field. And this team is going to commit to him, which means they're going to give him a lot of chances to fail, which means that he has plenty of time to turn things around, even if this first year doesn't go well for him. But overall, whenever you have a quarterback go one-on-one, he's going to get at least a few years to get things right. Joe Burrow is definitely the most valuable quarterback from a fantasy perspective in this class. I do have him in the same tier as Tua, because I think that Tua could end up outproducing him over the long run, but you have to be enamored by Joe Burrow's potential with what he did last year. So Joe Burrow, number 1 quarterback. Those are our 2 tier 1 guys, and those are our quarterback rookie rankings. We'll be posting up running back, wide receiver, and tight end rankings later this week as well. And then also you can click the link in the description. We have a free companion with all of our rookie rankings laid out for you guys in a nice printable tier cheat sheet, so you can use that for your rookie drafts whenever they may be. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Really do appreciate it, and we will see you in the next video.